A Sweet 16 Georgia girl has vanished into the dark night, along with her stepfather.
It's not like them not to answer the phone. I've been calling and texting and leaving messages and nothing.
A young mother is in jail in Miami, Florida, after police said she tried to hire a hitman to kill her son on a website.
A pastor allegedly spent $40,000 on a hitman to kill his daughter's boyfriend.
While mothers trying to kill their own kids is a deeply disturbing matter, paying someone else to do it for them makes anyone be lost for words. The following cases were deeply disturbing and gathered significant media attention due to their shocking nature. Let's examine them one by one. Tanya Janelle Carwell is a spine-chilling tale that begins with the young girl's disappearance becoming a harrowing mystery. Tanya, also known affectionately as Janelle, was a vibrant, bright-eyed teenager from Augusta, Georgia. She was an honor student at T.W. Josie Comprehensive High School with a bright future ahead of her. She lived in Richmond County, Augusta, Georgia, with her little sister, her mom, Tanya Tripp, and her stepfather, Leon Tripp.
Janelle was a loving, very intelligent, smart young woman who wanted to be a doctor, who was an honor student.
She never got to live that promising and bright future, though. Tanya Tripp married 38-year-old Leon Tripp and moved in with him with her daughters. On the surface, they were what one could consider a happy family, but that couldn't be further from the truth. On April 17th, 2017, on her 16th birthday, Tanya Tripp reported her missing.
How can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. I was calling to report a missing person.
Give me 1 second.
I pray to God that they not, but it's not like them not to answer the phone.
Your husband and your daughter are missing?
Right. I've been calling and texting.
They're not answering?
Neither one. And that's not like neither one of them, because they see me calling, they gonna answer.
Tanya's plea for help led to numerous interrogations. She told authorities that her husband woke her the night before the girl's disappearance to say he was going to help a friend who was having car trouble and was taking Janelle with him. The investigators, though, thoroughly examined that statement and the conditions surrounding it. This is what became known. The family had a barbecue at home that day. Tanya went to bed early. Leon called around midnight asking to borrow her phone so he could look up directions to Clarks Hill, South Carolina, because his friend's car had broken down. To look up the directions, he took Janelle with him. From then on, Tanya didn't hear from either of them for a whole day. And this is when the vast search began. The authorities and local community got instantly involved, and for 2 weeks, no one stopped searching. In the meantime, the story was all over the news.
And it's been a week and a half of sheer agony for the immediate family. Tanya Carwell's mother and uncle have come forward pleading with the public to help share this story so that their loved ones can be found.
I'm not eating, I'm not sleeping, I'm just worried about my family.
Says Janelle Carwell.
We've been praying that we wouldn't go into a year not knowing where Janelle is.
At first, the authorities' disorientation was reasonable. Nothing was out of the ordinary.
They're not reporting any problems to anyone. The neighbors saw nothing. They were having a cookout. She was inviting friends over. So it was nothing for us to suspect that there was something going on.
Not long after, though, Tanya's version of the story started raising eyebrows.
What stepdad wanted his daughter to go with him to help another guy at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Tanya's brother Charles wasn't sold on the reason either.
As if it was premeditated, because I mean, this girl goes missing on her 16th birthday, and how, she was brought out the house is just doesn't sit well with me.
Slowly and gradually, the police started connecting the dots. Leon and Janelle's white truck was found abandoned about a mile from their home. It was processed for trace and physical evidence, DNA, and anything that indicated a struggle, and nothing was found. They never went to South Carolina, but the plot thickens. Witnesses came forward claiming that Leon was actually seen more than 100 miles away in Atlanta without Janelle.
Spotted in a location without the presence of the daughter. He had a relationship with individuals in Atlanta. He had friends. He actually made 2 or 3 trips back and forth while we were actively looking for him and the daughter.
This information and evidence started pointing the authorities towards Leon, whose criminal record made him even more suspicious. In the past, Leon had assault charges, armed robbery, battery, child endangerment charges, and when he met Tanya, he was behind bars for aggravated assault. They started a relationship, and not long after they got married, while he was still in jail. Now, with him traveling around and Janelle unaccounted for, he became a wanted man. Instantly, Tanya became defensive, not believing that he was involved for a moment, and accused the authorities of accusing Leon. Disregarding her, the U.S. Marshals cornered him in Atlanta with the intent to bring him in. What they discovered, though, shocked them to their core. Tanya was with him.
We were extremely shocked when we found her and him actually together. And that's when we really got that sick feeling that, this case is really not heading in a good direction.
Leon was charged with kidnapping, and Tanya, who claimed that she had accidentally stumbled upon Leon, was charged with hindering the apprehension of a criminal. But was that the only thing that she was guilty of? The police started looking into her original 911 statement, comparing it to Leon's subsequent statements, and lastly, comparing all of them to her latest statements. Everything pointed at proven lies. Leon and Tanya could not hide anymore. The kidnapping investigation turned into a homicide investigation, and both of them got arrested. District Attorney Natalie Payne told the judge in court that Leon finally admitted it. But where was Janelle? What did they do with her body? Almost a year later, the truth came out.
Received a phone call from a citizen and had discovered what they believed to be human remains.
A resident in Augusta found a bone coming out of a shallow grave in the backyard of an empty house. Not long after, it was confirmed that it belonged to Janelle. Both Leon and Tanya faced serious charges: malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the first degree, and concealing the death of another. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community. They couldn't believe how much Tanya had lied. To this day, everyone is still unsure why they did it. No one even knows how they did it. Not so long ago, it was revealed that Leon and Tanya were looking to hire a hitman to kill Janelle, but they were unsuccessful in hiring one for unknown reasons. So while the judge pushed for the death penalty initially, the trials were time and time again postponed as more evidence started coming to light. The tragic fate of LaTanya Janelle Carwell will always remind us of the darkness that occupies the human soul, a darkness that eclipsed her light. And while justice will be served in the end, nothing can undo the pain caused by these murderers. Jasmine Paez's case is yet another haunting tale that makes one question the abyss of the human soul. Let's start with the fact that there is a parody website out there where you can rent a hitman. And yes, careers, service requests, contact, support, and TNCs can be found on it. Fill out the form and you are not in business. Because it's fake. Our educated guess, though, is that Paez didn't get the memo. In an interview with reporter Anjet Levy, the website's owner, Bob Ines, was asked right off the bat why on earth he owned such a website. Ines stated that the website was initially registered in 2005 for an IT security startup, specializing in, among other things, network risk analysis, with HIT being the key word. The company never took off, and the few men involved held on to the domain without being able to do anything with it. A few years later, though, is when it got interesting.
I received a very disturbing email from a female stranded in Canada. She was from the UK. She had no passport, and she wanted to have 3 family members murdered. It was after that incident that I realized that the website had prevented the murder of those 3 people. And that's when it was basically reformatted into what it is today, a website where nobody could be stupid enough to hire a hitman online.
But he was proven wrong. Paez filled out the form, and the target was her 3-year-old son. She included pictures of him and his exact locations at exact times. She even requested that she wanted the job done as soon as possible, to take the child far, far away and kill it. And that instantly raised all red flags. Ines looked her up, and the address matched. The information he had received was real. Eventually, he told her that it could be done within 24 hours, and Paez agreed. Ines had to contact the Miami police 3 times before he was taken seriously. At first, he was told to reach out to Crime Stoppers, but he instead, and after a lot of effort, managed to escalate it further. Miami-Dade police was accused of that delay, but immediately after, they released a statement. Indeed, once they realized Paez's seriousness, the Miami-Dade police acted rapidly.
Miami-Dade police. A detective posed as a hitman and sent a text to Paez. Police say she responded by sending a photo of her son and agreed to pay $3,000 for the boy to be taken far away and killed.
Upon collecting all the evidence against her, Paez was arrested for soliciting murder and was taken in for questioning. Paez confessed everything. Her latest boyfriend, whom she had fallen in love with, broke up with her because she had a kid. Paez then thought that if she somehow managed to get rid of it, she would get him back.
The intended victim, I guess, was her child. She's 3 years old. According to the arrest form, the child is in the custody of the grandmother, I believe. That's a good thing. Ms. Paez, have you ever been treated for any type of mental health condition?
No. When the media broadcast this case, the local community was shocked. A family neighbor claimed that she could not understand how someone so young would ever decide to do such a thing. In her defense, though, Paez didn't act alone. 18-year-old Gamil Souza was also trialed after texts were found pushing her to take the child's life. According to the arrest report, Souza stated that the kid is the problem. I hope you see that all I ever wanted was to free you. Souza was urging her to take her kid to the woods to be eaten by bears or to drown in the water. And he also asked for a picture of proof. Souza was given a $15,000 bond on first-degree murder conspiracy and unlawful use of a communications device. A judge ordered him to have no contact with the 3-year-old child or anyone under the age of 18 without supervision. In a case where even the judge was caught off guard, involving a young parent with clear mental health problems, the court decision was firm.
That you stay away from your 3-year-old child, I think it's her son, whose initials are CGP. No contact with this child, either directly, indirectly, in person, in writing, by telephone, or through third parties. And no contact with the victim through social media or other electronic means. And you must stay at least 500 feet away from the victim, his home, school, or daycare at all times. Do you understand that?
Paez was released on a $15,000 bond, and her father had been advocating for her ever since.
His father is defending her, telling a TV station in Miami, quote, "My daughter is not a monster. My daughter is a little girl who was born with health problems. She has liquid retained in her neck. She's had 12 surgeries. She lost the ability to move her face. She's been bullied in school. They called her the monster."
One would like to believe that we evolve regarding such bizarre matters. We learn from our mistakes, and even though we wish nothing like this ever happens again, we'll be ready next time. At least, that's what the police reassure us.
The Bureau has been in talks with us all day because of the fact that this is so bizarre, where we can utilize this now and create a best practice because of the fact that simply because you run into something that's a little bizarre and it's the first time you run into it doesn't mean you'll never run into it again.
It makes me wonder, by typing online, find a killer /hitman/assassin or similar, what do certain people think will happen? If someone is foolish enough to even think something like this, are they foolish enough to fall for such traps? But is it foolishness or is it hopelessness? This third case is slightly different from the other two, but love and the extremes one can go to prove or satisfy their love is once more the common denominator. Samuel Pasillas is a 47-year-old pastor for a Spanish-speaking church in Victorville, California. He is a man of God, The media did not disclose enough information about him or his family. Instead, they focused on what happened on the night of October 21st, 2023. That night, a young man whose details were never released was driving his car, and according to the Riverside Police Department, the following incident occurred.
What he said was he was driving down Grove Community Drive when a car pulled up next to him at a stop sign, and gunfire erupted from it.
What did he do then?
So he wasn't able to call for help then, and he did the next best thing and drove himself to the nearest hospital.
The hospital notified the police, and at the scene, robbery homicide detectives gathered all the evidence and started immediately to follow up the investigation. Assisted by the problem-oriented policing team and crime analysis unit, the investigation led to a murder-for-hire shooting. And on March 13, 2024, 2 men were arrested. The second man was 55-year-old Juan Manuel Criberos, but the plot had already thickened when the first one was arrested. It was none other than the pastor, Samuel Pasillas. You see, that young man was romantically involved with Pasillas' daughter, and upon examining all the evidence, it came to light that he hired Criberos and another man called Jesus Abel Felix Garcia to kill him. Actually, he paid them almost $40,000 to do it. For the record, Garcia's whereabouts are still unknown. More details later on revealed that Pasillas met with the 2 men prior to the execution and provided all the necessary information, including location and time. Samuel Pasillas was charged with solicitation for murder, conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, and assault with a deadly weapon. On the other hand, Juan Manuel Criberos was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, and assault with a deadly weapon. And according to the Riverside Police Department, Pasillas and Criberos pleaded not guilty during a joint arraignment Monday at the Riverside Hall of Justice and are slated to appear for a felony settlement conference. They also have released the following information. This investigation is still ongoing, and there are no other details to release at this time. Anyone with additional information should contact Detective Nick Cantino at 951-353-37104 or ncantino@riversideca.gov. Those wishing to remain anonymous can email rpdtips@riversideca.gov or download and use the Riverside Police Department Atlas One mobile app by utilizing the Send a Message feature. At this point, we should inform you that the young man is better. He's not 100% yet, but he's on the right path, still recovering. What we should also inform you is that the reason why the pastor did it was because he did not approve of him for his daughter, and wait for it.
There's nothing about this victim that would make anyone want to shoot him or have him shot. He's a good church-going young man.
Regardless of the motive, though, the local community was once more shocked about the incident.
For me to believe, because, he's a pastor, you don't expect that.
Well, he was not really a pastor. Further research showed that the church was a house belonging to Pastor Rafael Porras. Pastor Porras claimed that Pasillas was a self-proclaimed pastor, a volunteer. Furthermore, he did not comment on Pasillas' arrest. While Pasillas' case is different because he didn't hire someone to kill his own kid, he hired men to kill a nice person who was serious about his kid. To summarize, Janelle's mom and stepdad failed, so unfortunately, they did it themselves. Jasmine Paez thankfully failed altogether, and Samuel Pasillas succeeded in the hiring form, but once again, thankfully, the execution failed to come through. These cases indicate that hitman will always be able to be found, which is disturbing. Some people will get caught, some will get away, and some will get the job done. When it comes to parents doing it to their own children, though, it is beyond understanding. These cases serve as horrifying reminders of the complexities of human behavior, with the capacity for unthinkable acts of violence happening to the families next door. Families that, more often than not, have always been above suspicion. But such things seem to happen only to other people, right? However, while the tragic events discussed can be disheartening, it's important to understand that such cases are rare. What do you think drives a parent to commit such abhorrent acts? What do you think empties the love of their heart and fills it with hatred? Please let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.